What's up, Cancer? Welcome to your October 2020 Creativity Tarot reading. My name is Kaylee Jean, and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I simply record these readings for artists, entrepreneurs, and anyone who's working on their personal growth. So if those areas of life are important for you, definitely buckle in and keep listening. And I want to just kind of jump right into the reading. So while I was tuning in for you, I was being given a couple of different messages, but they felt very connected. And the first message was really about being willing at this time in your life to go against the grain a little bit. You may have opinions that are different from family members or people around you, or you may have different ambitions in your career, for example, than what your colleagues have. And I feel like there's just a recognition coming through that what you are interested in, or like the crossroads that you find yourself at, is very much unique to you, and it's not something that you have a lot of close mentors available to you. So that was the first kind of message, as I was sort of seeing somebody at a crossroads and kind of looking behind them and being like, oh, I don't have anybody who's with me on this. I don't have like a best friend who gets it, or a coworker who is in the same spot with me. There are, people that you have commonalities with, of course, but there's a specific area of life that I feel is important for you right now that is very much an internal thing, and it's not based on conversations that you've been having with others. In a lot of ways, it almost feels like you could be feeling like this desire to do something different is almost alienating for you, because on some level it's like you don't have that validation, or you don't have that point of connection about this particular subject with anyone else. And maybe it's like, some of you could be in a class of some kind, and your fellow students are just in a totally different mindset than you are about the subject that you're learning. It could be any number of things, because these are just general readings, but I feel this sense of okay, wow, I really need to make these decisions for myself, because I don't have that close role model here that's guiding me along this path. This is something that maybe you see other people that you don't know personally are able to do something similar, but you yourself don't have that close connection. And maybe it's time to invite more connections into your life, Cancer, that are going to be more conducive to where you want to go. You know that saying, we are the blend of the 5 people that we spend the most time with. And that there's a lot of truth in that statement, because who we surround ourselves with really does affect our energy, particularly if we are sensitive or creative or empathetic types. We tend to relate to others a lot, and sometimes in that process we almost match others in their vibration. So if you have people around you who are constantly operating with a certain type of mindset, for example, a money mindset, a mindset about abundance, maybe they lean a little bit more towards feeling fearful about money or feeling scarce about money, but you have this internal awareness of a new belief within yourself that is sort of blossoming, which is a belief in abundance, a belief in your ability to live a lifestyle that you want, or that you can actually achieve some kind of financial well-being that you didn't necessarily grow up with, but you're reaching that point. And again, this is just an example. I'm not saying this is the situation for everyone, but it's almost like you need to kind of consciously choose and curate new relationships that are going to be more in alignment with the vibratory state or the life attitude that you know that you want to have. So it is really about choosing your connections wisely, and recognizing also that sometimes you just have to go it alone at different points. Face the changes that are coming through in the wind, Cancer. Go with those changes. Trust yourself, because new connections will form. And I'm not saying you have to let go of anybody from your past, but it just feels like you have to be willing to go into a new current, basically, in your life. So let's take a look at your cards. Cancer. Clear light guidance for Cancer. There we go. I'm using the Halloween Tarot by Kipling West. I just feel like this is a very lighthearted and silly and cute deck, and that's kind of what I wanted, is to take a lighthearted attitude towards the energies of October, because we do have some heavy astrology this month, and we want to just kind of stay lighthearted as much as possible. Okay, so let's take a look here. So we've got the lion as your path, crossed by the butterfly. See, this really matches up with what was coming through. So the lion card is about embracing your sense of dignity. It's about trusting yourself to be a leader. It's about knowing what's true for you and being willing to live in accordance with that higher truth. There's a certain amount of regalness and self-regard and dignity that is going to be required of you to pursue your dreams and goals this month. And that's really what I see with this card, is it's you are going to really have to trust yourself, Cancer. I think you're really going to have to trust your judgment, and to believe in your future. Believe that good things are available to you and are coming to you. Okay? And the butterfly card is what's crossing you. This does feel like a challenge, but it also is a blossoming. The butterfly obviously is a creature that goes through a major transformation, right? It goes from being a caterpillar to having the ability to fly with full wings and just really beautiful expression of itself. So there is something here about, like, you're going through a major growth spurt, a major transformation, and you also need to be gentle on yourself as you go through that. The cocoon stage is sort of relaxing for a reason. I can't speak for, this animal, but I do kind of get the sense of being wrapped up in a cocoon is probably, somewhat comforting when you're going through that kind of big change. Indeed, you can't even really go through a big change without having some kind of cushioning around yourself to kind of help you feel more secure. So I think looking for ways to increase your sense of comfort in life, Cancer, whether that is, just making time to drink a nice cup of tea in the afternoon, or just taking out some time just for yourself to feel good, feel like you're giving back to yourself, having those pleasant moments with yourself, I think is really important, whether you're just reading a book for a half an hour or making sure to, do your hair, or something that makes you feel relaxed, something that makes you feel like you're nourishing yourself and taking care of yourself. It can be a silly thing like doing your hair, or drinking a cup of tea and reading a book for 30 minutes or an hour. But just those little things that you do consciously to kind of give you that cocoon energy, that sense of, okay, I'm taking care of myself, I'm giving myself a little bit of time to just do something that I find enjoyable, and that's going to make me feel good, is super important for you in October. Let's take a look at your tarot cards. So we've got Knight of Pumpkins, which is the Knight of Coins, the Lovers, Judgment, and the Hermit. Wow, lots of majors. King of Bats, which is the King of Swords, Eight of Pumpkins, which is the Eight of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Devil. This is crazy, guys. You've got 5 major arcana cards out of 8 cards total. So that's really significant. That's a very, very significant number of major arcana cards. It's statistically not as likely that would happen. So this again is telling me that you are going through a huge shift, because when you get that many majors in a reading, it really points to larger spiritual themes coming through in your life. This deck is really funny. It's kind of silly, and it's an interesting deck to read on for these general readings. But let's get started with your first week of October. So we've got the Lovers and the Knight of Pentacles, which Pentacles are coming up, or pumpkins are turning up in your reading a couple of times. As far as the minor arcana cards that you have, 2 out of Yeah, 2 out of 3 are pentacle cards. So this tells me that this is going to be a pentacle oriented month. This is going to be a month where you are pretty focused on work and career and money as well. But there are some strong relationship themes coming through here too, whether that is professional relationships or more personal relationships. There is a strong theme of those areas of life being highlighted as well. In the first week of October, we have the full moon in Aries, which is actually on the 1st. And that full moon is going to be symbolically falling in your 10th house of career and profession. So it's definitely, I would say, when you have a full moon there in that part of your chart, again, I'm just basing this off of the general astrology of Cancer. In general, this energy of the full moon in Aries is going to potentially bring some tension for everyone because there are hard aspects to it. But for you, it's bringing some kind of summing up energy to your career life. It's bringing either something coming to fruition, right? It could be harvest time in regards to your career. You could be achieving something or benefiting from past work. You could be going into a new phase of your career as well. And at the same time, there's a sense of, I want to say almost like birthing pains or like labor pains. It's like something is coming into being, and there are points of stress as that kind of comes through. And what I see with these cards, the Knight of Pumpkins and the Lovers, I think it's going to be about being consistent in that first week. And I guess I really want to say, like, honoring the obligations that you've made in the past. So you could be, again, summing things up when it comes to your career, finishing up a chapter of your career in some way, or really reassessing like what you actually want moving forward and what you don't want in your career. And there's something here about really questioning like what your values are, because the Lovers card represents values. In a lot of ways, it represents like the consequences of our choices and our creative ability in life to make, our own little universe, right? When we have a partner and we, start having children or whatever, the Lovers represents all of that. And so the Lovers is kind of, in a way, it represents your ability to create the world that you want to live in for yourself. And it does that in a very symbolic way. But I do feel with the Knight of Pentacles and the Lovers, it's like, just be consistent with your relationships and partnerships, whether it's business or personal. Just do what you say you're going to do and try and keep things simple, because there is the possibility for tensions to arise. And I think it will be really in your benefit to actually just kind of show up and have a certain steadiness of character. Don't go too high on the emotional scale or too low, but just kind of, try and keep things consistent. Because consistency will, if you're in a new relationship, for example, or a new business partnership or new collaboration of any kind, consistency is really what builds trust. So if you have a new relationship of any kind in your life, it really is just about taking those baby steps to show that you are reliable and that you are trustworthy. And that may also be a theme that you are wanting to see from someone else as well. And again, it's just with that Knight of Pentacles, it's about being pragmatic and just kind of saying things directly as well. So Judgment and the Hermit are coming up in the second week of October. I'm not sure what like some of you guys are going to have going on at that time, but I almost feel like there's some kind of inner work that's going to be really powerful in the second week of October. This could be related to you could be doing your own tarot readings for yourself. You could be journaling. You could be having more profound dreams. You could be just writing things down, processing, even seeing a counselor perhaps. But I also feel like this is strongly internal as well. So, and some of you may also be spending more time alone for some reason in that second week. Like maybe if you are married, your spouse could go on a trip, or if you have kids, they might be, with their other parent if you're not together, or there's something along those lines. It's like you have a little bit of space to think about the transformations that you would like to go through and how you want to use the powerful energy of this month. And the Judgment card, you know, it shows these people rising up and then they're sort of being, I guess, judged by this like weird vampire. Again, this is like a silly deck, guys, but I know that like the intuitive connection is there anyway. So I feel like this is really just talking about facing whatever like deeper desires or fears that you do have that you haven't really been coping with as well lately, or that you haven't really been exploring. And with the Hermit card, it's like you have a little bit of space and time to do that for some reason. So it's really nice. I think that you will be able to cook up some really interesting goals or some new plans for yourself. With the Hermit, I almost see you being like a scientist, you know, in life, and just thinking like, okay, this is what I would like to create, and this is the way that I'm planning to go about doing that. So it looks empowering and also kind of peaceful, in spite of the Judgment energy, which is like, it can bring up some fears, which we know inner work can definitely bring up fears. But the Eight of Pumpkins and the the King of Bats, which is the King of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. I feel like the third week of October is all business for you. It's all business. It's all about, some of you I feel could be signing contracts in that third week of October. Make sure that you have kind of all the T's crossed and the I's dotted with whatever contracts you're signing. Maybe have someone else, if you have a lawyer or you have somebody in your family who works with contracts, you send it over, you know, get a second pair of eyes on it, go through everything with a fine-tooth comb. But also I want you to structure your days in that third week of October really well, because you're gonna be busy. You're gonna be working really hard. And I also feel like you're going to be very no nonsense about things. So it's a great time to just be frank. It's a great time to be honest. It's a great time to express your truth. And I feel like that is going to be very clear for you. So definitely some potential commitments being made in that third week of October. I don't think that it's bad. Right as the sun moves into Scorpio in that third week, you're going to have the ability to you're going to start to feel more clear, because the sun going into Scorpio, you know, Scorpio is one of your sister signs. It is a water sign, and typically Cancers feel good in Scorpio season, as well as Pisces season and the Earth seasons as well. So you should be feeling more comfortable just speaking your truth, or more comfortable like with what you're doing during that third week. We've got the moon and the devil at the end of October. So this is really fascinating because we actually have a full moon in Taurus, which is on Halloween, which is pretty crazy. It's definitely a powerful full moon, in part because it is exactly by degree conjunct Uranus at 8 degrees of Taurus. So that's going to be really profound. That's going to be a really unusual day for all of us. And I think for you, the biggest thing that I can give you as far as advice is not to get caught up in other people's drama around that time. If you want to have a really amazing Halloween, I don't know if you guys celebrate or what. I typically don't really go out, but I just love, like, the whole month of October is basically like an ongoing Halloween for me. I just love it. So maybe do something that's fun for you, do something that is, you know, enjoyable for you in whatever way that makes sense, but try and like not get caught up in what other people are doing, or try and not get caught up in the drama of anything, because there's a potential with the moon and the devil to feel like you need to fix everything, and because of that you can get really emotionally tied into things that aren't actually in your best benefit. Like, look, we have the werewolf coming out, which is, you know, very descriptive of that full moon energy, and then we have the devil card, which is like really weird in this deck. I almost don't want to even show it anymore because it's like really, really weird, but the werewolf card is cool. There's a little Frenchie on there, a little French bulldog, it looks like. Yeah, I think it is going to be about There could be some dog energy around you guys as well on Halloween. Like maybe some of you will like find a dog. You know, if you're out trick-or-treating, you might see a stray, or somebody might ask you to dog sit, or you could be, you know, adopting a new dog. But there's something, or even a cat. But there's like an animal energy to that Halloween, which is pretty unique. But yeah, so just don't get caught up in any drama. Try and just have fun and be lighthearted. And if you feel yourself getting sucked into anything, just, you know, pull back, basically, is the message for you, Cancer. Let's take a look at your Bob Ross message. He says, anything we don't like, we'll turn it into a happy little tree or something. Anything we don't like, we'll turn it into a happy little tree or something. Yeah, I think that's really sweet. I think it's just a reminder, like with the Hermit and the crazy scientist on this card, I feel like it's a reminder that you create your reality, Cancer. So if something bothers you, there's always another way of looking at it. And that will change the way that it looks, right? It will change the thing that you're looking at from your perspective. So keep that in mind, that if there is something you don't like, well, you can turn it into a happy little tree or something, or a pumpkin, right? Super cute. So I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope it gives you something useful. Please let me know in the comments what you thought. If you want to support my channel, you can donate. You can leave a comment below, which is always super helpful. You can leave me a little pumpkin or just a Halloween message, just to let me know you're still with me and to help my channel grow in YouTube's algorithms. Give this video a thumbs up. I don't know if I said that or not, but sending you guys tons of love and light. Stay safe, and I will talk to you next time.